Angela, if you can just kind of give us a synopsis of how you learned about SEWN and the work that Danita has done for you thus far, and a little bit about your business and where we're at today.
So we started our LLC in the winter of 2019. Started making the moves to open the business, and then pandemic hit. So we were blessed at that time for the pandemic because I had no employees. So it was just me in this old factory, spending hours living here with my dogs cleaning because it was filthy. It was old manufacturing, doing brass alloy rods, and at one point it was copper, depending on which company it owned at the time. So this factory was built in 1918. It's the oldest part of the old Zero Metal Titan Energy Park, closed in 2008. So when we took over 12 years later, it basically sat stagnant, you know? So the locker room still had employees' work boots and clothes, because when they closed down, this is the end of the shift. They were doing two different ones. You're gone, and then the doors were locked for the next ones coming in.
Right.
So it had a lot of work to do, especially to move from manufacturing of metal, you know, with lots of equipment and hydraulic fluids and dust and dirt, to manufacturing a food product, an alcoholic beverage. So to get that into place, that took a long time. So from 2020 to 2022 in February when we opened, it was all about cleaning and painting and acquiring the equipment we need, from the tasting room to setting up our production area with tanks. And it went really well. And then it reaches a point where, how do I grow this business? How do I keep the momentum going? Because everybody loves the shiny new penny in the neighborhood, but then there's always another new penny. So how do you keep reinventing yourself? How do you progress forward? And how do you do that with the intelligence and the different hats you have to wear? So I'm a creator. I'm an artist. I am a creator of cider, hard cider, where I lack the expertise. I've never owned a business before, so it's all brand new. And then as you start growing the company, you realize, what do we do with this information? That's the cost of goods sold. How do I expand into distribution? How do I price my product so I know what the distributor wants for the price. He says, this is the price you have to be competitive at. And I'm like, all right, so can I go in at that level? I mean, you start selling, you're like, okay, I'll do that. You're just happy for the help. And then going back through, I'm like, this price, the finances that I have are just on the ingredients that went in. I knew as a business person, I had to track that. You know, not only do I need that for my accountants, whatever, I also need that to know how each batch grows. But what do I have to add in as far as labor? I have a full-time cider assistant. I pay rent. Does that include just the rent for production? Does it include the rent for the rest of the space? How is this all broken apart? And it quickly became overwhelming. That's where SEWN became so important to moving on to the next step. We are about to reach our third year in business. Most restaurants, tasting rooms fail after the first year. We know we have a great product. How do we get that product out further, expand our distribution, and expand, the people coming into our place? And that's through getting it into 12-ounce bottles, into meeting our customers where they're at. They're at home. They're not here all the time. So getting that into their refrigerators, into their dinner tables, their bonfires after, hours is crucial. But that's a big step. So we were talking with Cider. They had put me in contact with Danita over at SEWN and says, I think this is a resource you could really benefit from. And it's been really life-changing for us here. So I do thank you. It has been nice to have somebody on your side, that is the finance person, that wears that hat, that understands those numbers going in when you're looking at making yourself into a company that exists beyond what I'm doing today. I want to step out of the business end of it and know that it's good and go back to the creation part, because that's where my talents are better used. But you can't get there until you're making money. So having SEWN come in at this crucial time of just saying, please, I just need to know if I'm selling at the right price, if I'm making the right decisions. I know what the distributor wants. I know that I'm breaking even. There's got to be a point where this turns. And through Danita working on her books and explaining to me and being a teacher and a business partner and, somebody that has your back when you're going into these different scenarios is a blessing. So, and even finding out from my limited experience being a business owner, which has only been since 2019, and not having I sold my house to open this, I threw everything I had in. When other people or other entities start business, they're using their capital that they've increased on one business, folding it into another, finding there's only so much that's available, when this is your first business. So through SEWN, I've been introduced to, well, have you looked at this grant? No, because grant writing is intimidating, Well, here, you do this portion of it. These are the figures that back up, and I'm going to explain them to you. And so now going through a different process to get funding through grants, and figuring out, okay, I need to do, if I had gotten a grant that said we need a 3-year projection. Yeah, I did my business plan, and I did it with good research and intentions, but here's the reality, we're in it 3 years. There's figures here that can be used to project it. It's no longer, it's still an educated guess, I guess, at this point, because nobody knows the future. But having those tools in your warehouse, or in your wheelhouse, is incredibly empowering. It allows you to make that next step. It allows you to be successful. It allows you to play in the game that so many other people never even get to the field.